Hello, my name is Jess, I'm a librarian, and I am going to talk today about fear of libraries, being scared of going into a library, the fear of librarians a little bit. Library anxiety is the term that's used amongst my peers in the library world, and this talk today was triggered by reading an article, from IFLA on library anxiety that was done by a researcher from Jamaica on her university there, her high school, from there. And it got me thinking a little bit about the reasons people are scared of libraries. Because it's true, people are scared of libraries and scared of books, scared of coming into the library and using the services, or even using the services online, even if it's not using maybe the physical library. And as it's been proved time and time again, people who use libraries more tend to get better degrees, do better in their exams, do better in their essays. So this fear of using the libraries and how it can prevent people from using them at all really can impact on people's learning, which is something that we should look at, really. So I did some very, very scientific research this morning through Googling fear of libraries, scared of libraries, scared of librarians, I'm scared of the library, I'm scared to go into the library, things like that. I also put a little message out on Twitter asking people what made them scared of the library, and I had a little look on YouTube, and I read a couple of articles as well. And I think the thing that came out the most really was people being scared of an environment that they felt uncomfortable with, that they didn't know the rules for, that they felt they were going to be judged for being in because they didn't know what was the expected mode of behaviour. This can be something that stops people from doing a lot of things. Now, I am the worst person in the world to talk about don't be scared of librarians because we're really friendly, because I am the most stereotypical librarian ever. I am maybe a little bit younger than the average librarian in your head, but I'm white, I'm a woman, I'm middle class, I wear glasses, my hair is in a bun, I do wear cardigans, and I can be quite strict. I'm very good at saying shush, and I have a loud voice when I want to, so I am quite a stereotypical scary librarian. But the reason I have my hair in a bun is because I have a fear of going to the hairdressers. I hate it. I find it such a massive chore. I never know if I'm saying the right thing. Am I paying them enough? Do I tip? Am I supposed to talk to them about my holidays? Am I supposed to talk at all? I just want to go in there, sit down, have somebody cut my hair and get out. And you can't do that because that's not what you do in that environment. And it does scare me, so I never get my hair cut and I pile it back in a bun. And that's made me realise that libraries are a completely alien environment for quite a lot of people. And there's a number of reasons for that. Mostly because I think there's no kind of bog standard library. So they're not all the same. There's things that you can look out for. It's like being on the internet. If you go on a website, you know that the homepage, if you find a logo, you click on the logo, it'll take you back to the homepage. On the left-hand side, there's usually things you can limit your searches by if you're using like a Amazon or a booking holiday or something like that, or using a library catalogue. There's standard things that all libraries should or do have, but there's no kind of layout that's all the same. It's not like you're going into Topshop. There's not a standard layout, and that can scare people because people don't know where to go, and often people feel that they should automatically know stuff. So it's like, well, I should automatically know where things are, or how I should find things out, or how I should use these various technologies. Even things like the shelves, using the shelves that turn or the shelves that move, that can be very scary for some people if you've never used it before. But you don't have to know these things automatically. We're not assuming that you do. Librarians should not assume that you know how all their library stuff works. If they do, they're not being good at their job, because librarians and people who work in libraries should be there to help you. That is their job. Most people who work in libraries want to work in a situation where they can help people out. And this fear of approaching people and asking for help is something that a lot of people have. And another thing major thing that came out was the fines. People are terrified of going to libraries because they are scared that they're going to get fined for something, or that they haven't brought a book back and they're going to be charged hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars or whatever for it. When I looked on Twitter and just put in scared library, 70% of the stuff that came up was fine related. There was one tweet saying my grandpa hasn't been to the library since 1962 because he's scared he's going to get a fine on a book. To be honest, most of the time librarians just want the books back. There are lots and lots of issues to do with fines and the rights and wrongs for them, and it's a conversation the profession's been having with itself since year dot. I have no answer for you if you are scared, if you're thinking, but I've got a book and I was supposed to bring it back before Christmas and I haven't, and oh God, they're going to kill me. I have no answer for you. But please, please, just try and talk to someone in your library, because the longer you leave it, the worse it's like anything. The longer you leave it, the worse it is going to get. And from my experience, most of the time we just want our stuff back, because then other people can use it, which is the point of a library as opposed to a bookshop. People think that they don't belong in an environment because it's too quiet, because they don't know how to behave. Again, when I looked on Twitter and put library scared, most people were saying, oh, I made a noise in the library, the librarian's going to come and shout at me. And librarians do have this reputation for coming to tell you to shut up. And that is because, again, quite a lot of the time people want to have an environment where they can work. And it's our job to maintain that environment. Somebody replied to my Twitter question, what makes you scared of libraries? I don't like going to the library because people make noise in it and I can't confront them. You shouldn't have to confront them. I have spent most of my professional life asking people to keep it down. And that kind of, again, it's a two-way street. And again, there's lots of conversations within the profession about if this is a good thing or a bad thing, whether or not libraries should be sacrosanct and silent and la la la, or whether or not libraries should be welcoming and you should be able to make noise and eat food and do what you like. I think, why not cater for everybody? Why can't you have a building where a silent bit and a non-silent bit? Our library is like that, and there should be libraries that support that notion, that they can support any kind of user and their needs. Another thing that came out, though, was, and this really, really upset me a little bit, people thinking they were going to be judged on their choices of what they were reading. I don't think it's right to judge anyone on their choices of what they're reading, because they're reading, and that's a great thing. I spent many years working in a college library, working with young people, often reading for pleasure for the first time, and I tried really, really hard not to judge what they were reading, even if I personally would not read what they were reading for pleasure, or if I disdained it. I think that if somebody is reading for pleasure, that is something that you should celebrate, and I think most librarians would agree with that. If you feel vulnerable, or you're made to feel vulnerable by somebody working in a library, that's not right, and you should complain about that. It's not right that you're made to feel that you are being judged, that you are forced into looking at or reading stuff that you don't want to, that you can't get the help and information that you need. If you feel that the library is censoring your choices in some way, get angry about that. Speak to the staff and try and figure out why this is. It may be for a policy reason, it may be that that member of staff has never encountered someone who reads what you read before, or doesn't know anything about the genre you're interested in. We don't know everything. Please speak to the people you have problems with, and if that's a problem for you, you can do that with a friend, you can ask someone to do that on your behalf, you can email, you can write to the library. If people don't know that there's a problem, they can't fix it. And I know that's kind of a get out of me saying that, but I would be so much better at my job if I knew where I was falling down in it. All libraries are different and they all have different rules, and there's loads of different reasons for this. If you've had a horrible experience of a school library where you got told off every day, or you maybe were put in that library as a punishment because you were naughty in class and you got kicked out and got sent to the library, I'm really sorry that happened to you. I've worked in libraries where I've been the person who has shouted at you. I've worked in libraries where I've had to tell people off or confiscate their food or tell them to take their drinks outside or just in general not be as facilitating as I could be. There are rules in libraries about drinking and food and noise for various reasons, and I would again try and speak to your librarians about that and the reasons those rules are in place. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that there's loads of different reasons people are scared of coming into libraries, and they're all very personal. But you're not alone in being scared of coming in. And if you can get help in any way that works for you, either if it's support through friends or the internet or even someone in your college or your university, if you've got a mentor or your tutor, if you can buddy up with someone to come into the library, do, because I think once people start using libraries, they will understand how beneficial it can be. And I think that once you start exploring something, the fear lessens a little bit. So I'm going to go to the hairdressers this week. I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to a hairdresser and maybe even get rid of the bun, who knows. If I can do it, you can do it. So be brave. Be strong, come and use our library.